Hello, this is Group D4. What we're implementing is, for our part 3, is a calculator. The problems you could have in life is not being able to do calculations, but with a calculator, you can solve this. We look at our first functions. We have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I don't really need to explain those. It's pretty apparent. And then we get into some more complex things. If we take a look at the one below that, we have factorial function. Essentially what that does is we just save the input value in a temp variable, and then we loop through and subtract 1 from itself and then multiply it together. So what that'll do is if you pass in 5, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, when it hits 1, it'll break out with the sub s flag, and then it'll return the factorial. And then we have determine average, where we start in and we'll pass it in this array right here. And what we'll do is we'll simply tally up every single value of the array when we load in, and then we'll divide by the length, and that'll output the average.
Okay, so also we have a absolute value command. So because of the way that this interprets the negative number as an unsigned value, we have to do some goofy stuff where we add, so we check to see if a number is less than this value, which is half of the overall number that can be stored in this long int. And so if it is less than that, then we know it's good. Okay, and if it's not smaller than that, then we know it's negative. So what we do is subtract the number that comes in from the overall number, largest number that can be in there, and that way we can handle both positive and negative cases. Determine larger is a function that handles, it's given 2 numbers and it just finds the larger one. So we just compare them and branch based on those, based on that difference. And if, in this case, it handles if one is larger, if the first one is larger, then it goes here. If the second one is larger, it goes here. Lastly, we have a determine min. So like average, we pass in an array, and it follows a very similar path as determine average, but in this case, here we compare an overall smallest to the current number found in the array here, and if we find that this new number is smaller, we jump down here to found smaller and update, and then we leave once we pass through the entire array. So if we run it, we'll get we got an extra space here for some reason, and yeah, so 5 plus 8, 13, all these work. And then for the arrays, you can see that these do in fact give the correct values for average and min in these different cases. So overall, we learned from this project how to do some assembly. Also, we learned what termination by exemption means, that it's the most unhelpful error ever.
I think the biggest thing you can do to enhance and expand this program is simply just do more functions. There are a lot of functions you can find on calculators that are a lot more advanced than what we implemented here, and it would take a lot more time, but that'd be a way to do that.
All right, so leave a like, subscribe to Sam and Shloom for more great architecture vids, and we'll see you in the next one.